It's Wassup Flobo. It's Monday. How's it going? It's May 18th. May is actually rolling pretty fast after a super slow April. How's everyone doing, man? I'm good. I'm great. For those of you who follow me on the social medias, my weekend was pretty much dominated by the Rocket League Senior Series. That was a group I did some commentary for last time on their 3x3 tournament, but I just did their Rumble tournament. For those of you who don't know about Rocket League's Rumble mode, so imagine regular Rocket League, that's cars plus soccer, but you get power-ups, and we're talking things like cyclones, and you get to give your opponent sabotaging boosts and grappling hooks and plungers / suction cups. It's kind of wild and kind of random, and it was kind of interesting for me too, because I was like, wow, this mode is not done as seriously as a normal 3x3. Would I be able to give it a little bit more of that sports gravitas that's necessary for something like that? So it was a challenge, and it worked out. And I was very, very pleased with the result. No high spots this time. I know last time I had enough high spots to be like, boom, I call this goal, I call this match. Not enough of that, but it was definitely a more complete performance all the way around. But that leads me to today's episode, because between working on prepping for notes on Saturday, the show itself on Sunday, and getting up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to play top 11 because all my matches are at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you have to pay them tokens to move your match to late in the day, top 11, I haven't getting to sleep, which is interesting because I'm not getting to sleep because of anything like pressing or work or anything. I'm just on that creative stuff. And I realize how much I appreciate caffeine. I love them all. I don't care if it's coffee. I don't care if it's energy drinks. Cold brew is something I'm working on, but espresso is good too. I just love coffee and caffeine products. I want to talk to you about that. Let's get energy drinks out the way. Yes, I know they're not good for me. Yes, I know they're not healthy. And yes, I know there's enough compounds in there to pretty much corrode the insides of my insides, but it's delicious and I like it. And I have been drinking energy drinks for about 10 years now. I'm trying to cut back. I cycle off sometimes. Currently now I do one in the afternoon. Right now I'm on Rockstar's 0 calorie juiced, and they're sugar free, and Monster's Zero Ultra Fiesta, which is their mango flavor. That's the one I'm doing now. But I have Red Bull phases. I have the Tiger Rip Curl, the bargain basement dollar store ones. I kind of cycle on and off of those. And even on the recovery series, the non-carbonated lemon lime drink ones as well. But the morning has to get coffee, and I realize it's kind of like a big thing when it comes to coffee. I think of myself more as a coffee egalitarian, meaning there's not much coffee I don't like. I'll pretty much drink anything, but I do know how to adjust my expectations to things. When I go to 7-Eleven, which is like my least favorite coffee, they're like blends. Their blends have this weird aftertaste. They have like single roast, like Colombian and Brazilian. That's fine, but like their blend, their executive blend, or their high Java blend has this weird aftertaste. I can drink it still, and especially back at last fall when it was $1 a cup, I made sure I can drink that, no problem. But I two kinds of coffee myself. When it comes to mass market produced, get on the grocery store, I'm from New York, so I'm a big chock full of nuts guy. It's that Heavenly coffee. They have their own flavors, but I have the Heavenly original blend. It just takes me back when I am homesick. I think about a cup of coffee in the 90s on my way to school when I used to drink only Cooladas because that was the only coffee I can stand on my way to middle school. Even though Cooladas are a Dunkin' Donuts product, and I will defend Dunkin' Donuts to the day I die, chock full of nuts for me is like that feeling, that vibe of like the steam coming from the streets and people wearing trench coats because it's going to be a cold morning and cold evening, but a hot afternoon, and the boxy cars of the 90s. You know, like basically the transition videos they show between scenes of Friends. That's chock full of nuts for me. Even though they had their own coffee called the Central Perk blend, which was made under the 8 o'clock brand, and Central Perk is kind of overrated, but chocolate nuts is mine. But also, perhaps conversely, I like single origin blends too. I love my light roast, Central American, notes of fruit and citrus. I love that feeling when it hits the back of your tongue, like you just bit into a papaya or something, you know, or a mango or a grapefruit with your coffee. And those are the ones I realize I can enjoy. I can sit back and just go, I love it. I don't care if it's to a Mr. Coffee, which I prefer because it keeps my coffee warm for an hour, or a French press, which I also have, or a percolator, which I don't have, but I have experience. That's all great. The one thing I don't get is that freeze dried instant stuff. Now, my dad drinks coffee. I love him to death. I love him like a dad. And not only does he picks Folgers, which there are very few brands of Folgers I like. I like their 1850, but their normal Folgers, the red barrel, no. But he gets the instant one because, frankly, he doesn't want to be bothered with brewing a pot himself. And I tried teaching him a Keurig, but he says it's too complicated. Hitting a button is too complicated. We'll get the freeze-dried stuff. And that to me is absolute affront to coffee. I am sorry. Here's this majestic fruit that grows on a vine, and it's picked and it's peeled and it's roasted and it's blended, and people make their livelihoods find the right origin and blends, and they get together in the bag where you can grind yourself and get the aromas. And yeah, I don't want to smell freezer burn when I'm drinking my coffee. So I will not do that instant stuff. I know Starbucks has this thing where it's like, hey man, we have our Starbucks instant. It's just as good as the fresh stuff. You're like, no. That's like when a company says try our product, it's 100% legal. You start asking more questions. For the record, Starbucks is not the best coffee, but I will not trash Starbucks. A lot of coffee snobs are like, oh, I can't believe you'll do that. I can't. I mean, Starbucks it's just crap. It's like Starbucks does not have to be the best coffee. It doesn't have to be. If it was the best coffee, you wouldn't drink it every day, right? Here's the thing when it comes to pop culture, when it comes to food, when it comes to beverages, when it comes to fashion. There are lowbrow entries, right? McCafe, Burger King, Cup of Joe, Trash TV, which is very lowbrow. They know exactly what they are. There are no frills to hint to the masses. Then there's highbrow stuff, right? That's the intelligentsia. That's the HBO drama from the 90s. A very, very small audience will take that, savor that, appreciate that. Dark chocolate, if you will. If you want to be successful, you got to shoot for the middle brow. You got to shoot for the middle ground. Be slightly above the normal offering so you stick out, but not to the point where you are going to alienate people who are not ready for your palate, or it becomes too expensive to become feasible. We see this all the time. Netflix's biggest hit the last 10 years was a show called House of Cards. House of Cards isn't lowbrow because it talks about politics in Washington, D.C., but it isn't highbrow either because everything is all sensationalized and dramatized. It's shot for the middle. Breaking Bad. It's not trash TV like Jerry Springer. It isn't prestige TV like a Nat Geo documentary. It has just enough dramatic elements where people feel elevated watching it. It's not that hard. So I, in a weird way, defend Starbucks because it is doing what we all thought or what we all do for success. They came in high in the market, and they trickle down, and they're fine. And plus, you can get their little card, so same with Dunkin' Donuts. You get a little card and store value on it, which is pretty cool. When you get paid every other week or so, you're like, okay, cool, $20 in coffee, it's set, it's there. If I spend it, I spend it. Good budget. So shout out to Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. And I think Coffee Bean does it too, where you can preload a card. But yes. So right now, this morning, after this episode of Wassup Flobo, I made myself a hot pot of chock full of nuts. And I'll probably have myself a little bit of Rockstar Recovery in the afternoon because I love caffeine. I'm all about it. What kind of caffeine products do you like? What kind of caffeine products do you enjoy? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of Wassup Flobo and all the other episodes. The Patreon, I got to mention this real quick. I have a Patreon, patreon.com/FloboBoys, premium content there. Subscribe to support, get the inside track. But basically, I am dabbling in a musical single. I'm doing a comedy musical in the vein of what's going on with the pandemic and being a creative and being a comic with no live audience and all that. It's called Project Switch. Please subscribe to Patreon to get more about that and see how I'm crafting a song, my first ever novelty comedy song. It's going to be great. I'm back here Wednesday. Thank you so much. I'm on flopito.com. Be my friend, add me and all that stuff. Until next time, be yourself and peace out.